Thank goodness we conservatives have some place to go to hear the truth. But you know what? Again, it's our responsibility to lean over the fence to our neighbors and share the truth with them. To lean up after the pastor's done on Sunday morning, wait until he's done with his sermon, and maybe share something with a brother or sister over the pew. It's our responsibility. And you know what? The last couple of generations have dropped the ball. Yeah. We've sat on our apathetic backside, and we've let these politicians take away our liberty. Our liberty! Because every time we pass a bill in Jefferson City, or they do in Washington, D.C., you lose a little liberty.
And money.
And money. When John Ashcroft left office in the early 90s, Missouri had 8 statute books about 1.5 inches thick. Today we have 20 statute books. What are we doing? Why do we have to have so many laws? Brian Nieves, who's going to talk next, is a dear friend of mine, and he's a patriot. He's hardcore. He doesn't take any prisoners. He believes in you. He believes in this nation. He believes in our Constitution. And Brian and I are going to introduce legislation simultaneously in the House and Senate this next session, which asserts our state's sovereignty and our 10th Amendment rights to our delegation in Washington, D.C. That's the first step. We're not going to stop there. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to sign the pledge that says when the federal government encroaches on our state's rights, that we're going to be there to stand in the gap on your behalf, that we're going to monitor legislation, we're going to support legislation and introduce legislation that will stop the federal government from moving beyond its constitutionally afforded power. Article 1, Section 8, we have the powers that were afforded to the federal government. And over the years and over the decades, those government lawyers in black robes have convinced the people that there's something called implied powers in our Constitution. That's baloney. There are no implied powers. Why would our founding fathers go to the trouble of enumerating the powers and then put the punctuation point with the 9th and 10th Amendment? These men were geniuses. They spent a lot of time and energy putting this together. And you heard the quotes from our different founders. The more that I read about our history, the more that I learned before the ink was dry on the Constitution. Jefferson and Hamilton were battling it out. They were at loggerheads. They were throwing fisticuffs, man. And Jefferson wanted a small, very restricted, limited federal government. And Hamilton wanted an expansive government. A government that would rule like the king of England, but just have different people in control. And, of course, he was going to be one of them, right? And the Jeffersonians fought them off valiantly for decades. And if you want to get a good, great read, pick up Thomas D. Lorenzo's book, Hamilton's Curse. He says in the first chapter, he says, we might revere Jefferson as one of our greatest founding fathers in crafting the Declaration of Independence, but we live under Hamilton's curse. Folks, this is exciting for me. As bad as things seem, I can tell you, I feel this is a good time to serve because the people are waking up. Right. The people are waking up. And I need to know When I'm down there standing in the gap, taking the arrows on your behalf, on behalf of the people of the 1st Senatorial, that when I look over my shoulder, there's somebody standing behind me. All right? Good. And so does Brian Nieves. And so do many other of these patriots that are running for office. We've been blessed with a representative republic. And I think that it was Franklin when confronted by a woman after he came out from some of the meetings in Philadelphia. Mr. Franklin, what kind of government is it that you've made for us? And he said, a republic, madam, if you can hold on to it. Folks, I'm blessed to be with you. We're blessed that God's providential hand has been on this nation for well over 230 years. Yeah. But it's up to us to hold on to it. Thank you.